Welcome to a world rarely spoken of, where light does not always bring truth, and darkness holds the answers you were never meant to hear. Here we unravel the darkest corners of the mind, challenge old beliefs, and open the door to a reality you never expected. This is not just a video. This is a journey into the shadows of your own soul. This isn't just a story about society. This is a story about you, about the invisible chains wrapped around your potential, and why the world quietly hopes you never break them. They never said it out loud. But from the moment you entered the system, from the first time you raised your hand in class or punched in on a clock, something began conditioning you. You were never told to be excellent. You were told to obey. You were taught to follow rules, respect authority, raise your hand, wait your turn, memorize the right answers, not ask deeper questions, not push boundaries, not dare to think differently. And slowly something inside you shrunk, not because you were lazy, but because they needed you to shrink. Because a society full of truly excellent people is a dangerous thing. Excellence is unpredictable. It doesn't conform. It doesn't submit quietly to control. That's why the system, governments, corporations, institutions, doesn't reward excellence. It rewards consistency, predictability, and most of all, mediocrity. Look around. Mediocre workers are promoted because they don't question the boss. Mediocre content is pushed because it keeps the masses distracted. Mediocre opinions go viral because they don't threaten power. And when someone starts to rise, when someone dares to reach beyond the invisible ceiling, they're labeled difficult, arrogant, problematic. Do you think that's an accident, or is it by design? You see, mediocrity isn't just tolerated, it's engineered. From the moment you're born, the system begins feeding you three toxic beliefs. 1. That you are just like everyone else. 2. That success is only for the lucky few. 3. That trying too hard makes you weird. They want you to internalize these lies, because if you believe them, you'll never try to escape. You'll chase the same dreams everyone else does. Buy the same product, watch the same shows, hate the same enemies, and slowly you'll forget that you were born to do something greater. Because somewhere deep inside you, there's a voice whispering, you were made for more. But the system drowns that voice in noise, in debt, in routine, in endless scrolling and mindless work. And the scariest part? You think it's your choice, but it never was. They gave you freedom, but only the kind that fits inside a cage. You're free to choose your job from a list they made. You're free to speak until your voice threatens comfort. You're free to chase success, but only by following their map. What they fear most isn't rebellion, it's awakening. Because once a person wakes up, once they realize how much they've been programmed, they become uncontrollable. And that's the system's worst nightmare. So instead of letting you wake up, they sedate you. Not with drugs, but with routine. With praise for playing it safe, with fear of standing out. Look at school. It doesn't train thinkers. It trains workers. Memorize this. Repeat that. Sit still. Be quiet. Now look at work. It doesn't reward value, it rewards time. Show up. Don't question. Meet deadlines. Collect paycheck. You were never meant to thrive. You were meant to function, like a cog in a machine that never stops turning. And every time you question that machine, there's a voice ready to guilt you. Be grateful. Don't be selfish. Who do you think you are? But those aren't your thoughts. They're echoes of a system designed to keep you average. Because a person who embraces their full potential can't be controlled. They break rules. They write their own story. They refuse to be domesticated. But most people, they settle. Not because they're weak, but because they've been taught that survival is enough. So they stop dreaming, stop risking, stop reaching for more. And in their place, the system wins. Because the mediocre don't revolt, they repeat. They repeat the cycle. From school to job to debt to death, and call it a life. So what happens when someone refuses to stay mediocre? When they stop nodding, stop agreeing, stop shrinking themselves to fit the mold? The system notices, and it panics, because one awakened mind can wake 100 more. That's why those who rise are often attacked first. Not physically, but psychologically. They'll say you've changed, that you're selfish, that you've abandoned your roots. They'll mock your ambition, shame your hunger, and twist your growth into arrogance. Not because you're wrong, but because you remind them of what they could have been. Because you didn't stay small. And now, the choice is yours. You can continue pretending, smiling at a world that rewards silence, numbing yourself with comfort and calling it peace. Or you can choose the harder path, the path of the outcast, the misfit, the awakened. But if you do, understand this: you will lose things. People will walk away. Doors will close. You'll doubt yourself 1,000 times. And yet, every time you choose growth over ease, truth over acceptance, excellence over mediocrity, you take a sledgehammer to the system that told you to stay quiet. You become what they fear: uncontrollable, unpredictable, unapologetically free. And freedom, real freedom, was never supposed to be safe. It was meant to set fire to everything that kept you small. So if you've ever felt that burn inside you, that itch to do more, to be more, to break the chains you can't always see, that wasn't madness. That was your potential, screaming to be remembered. If this message lit something inside you, then you already know. It's time to wake up. Subscribe and let them know the age of quiet obedience is over.